So this is the test that I gave, and I have switched to desktop mode because I wanted to explain where I went wrong, and I did my analysis till now. So I wanted to share the analysis with you guys. So this was the mock that I gave, and surprisingly I'm happy that I did good in quant. These are my scores. So 28 out of 30. English is my strong subject. I shouldn't have done these two mistakes also, because look at the rank. Even though I scored 28, it's 1000 something. Now coming to quantitative aptitude, I'm happy that I didn't do any mistakes, but 4 questions I wasn't able to solve, 2 out of which I wasn't even able to read and attempt, and 2, even though I did attempt these, I wasn't able to solve. So here I was lacking conceptual clarity. Okay, that's what I have observed. And in reasoning, I learned good amount of things. There was 1 silly mistake. Other than that, 3 were good learning points, which I will be sharing with you in this part of the video. So let's move on to questions. I'll start from reasoning because that's where I did majority of the mistakes. So yeah, in this question, I've observed that these kinds of questions I've been consistently doing wrong, in which numbers are dropped. So this is a very silly question, silly mistake, not a silly question. It's an easy question but a silly mistake. So we just had to count, skip the numbers and count whatever else was. I probably skipped a symbol or something. So I feel like the only way to maybe solve this is by making notes. Making a note of all the items and then cancelling them manually. If there's any other method you guys feel would be more useful, to let me know. And this is the other question. Yeah, here is a good learning point. So this is the puzzle. Do pause the video and try to solve this and answer this question, where it says how many boxes are placed between box 3 and box 6. Okay, I'm not gonna pause. You pause the video and solve. So here what it is, what I have observed is, there were boxes like this. Okay, there were blanks in between boxes. So when they asked how many boxes are there in between 3 and 6, I only saw these and I answered 3. But we were supposed to answer these empty boxes as well. So that was the learning point here. And then in question number 20, yeah, this was also a bit, it may be easy to others, but somehow I did a mistake, so I would like to share it. So this is the pattern, right? Just a minute. Yeah, okay. So the answer says, same, this question also do pause and try to answer. Now they said PI is related to DIA. First thing, so I got confused. PI is related to DIA. GI is related to CIA again. And in the same way, who among the following is related to RIA? Who among the following? So answer should be GIA. But how do we solve this in the exam? So in the exam, when they say if PI is related to DIA, I figured that the best way to solve this is, we have to tell it in terms of where PI is, okay? PI is, they say related, right? PI is related to DIA. So PI is northwest, right? VE, north south. So PI is northwest of DIA. PI, talk in terms of that, okay? Then GIA would be northwest of CIA. Then it says who, right? Who is here is northwest to RIA. So that's the answer. Of course, we may not know whether it's south or north because we know the answer now. I'm just saying it's northwest. But we must be fast enough to take other possibilities as well. Like CI is to the southeast of PIA. But I feel like we're going in the order of which the question is asked will be the most ideal way to solve this question. These kinds of questions. And then, yeah, this one, it was again a silly mistake, okay? 2 silly mistakes and 2 proper things to learn. Here it's the classic way of solving this is just 7, 8. Keep doing this. 3, 4. Yeah, and I forgot to mark these two. So we have to be very attentive here. Just be very attentive and patient and make sure that you don't make mistakes. Okay, that's with the reasoning section. Now coming to quant, I'm actually quite happy with how this turned out. So the question that I wasn't able to solve, I'm going to solve. Do pause the video and try to solve this. But I'm still going to explain this because I wasn't able to solve it. So maybe it will be useful for someone. So they say that Anju, Divya and Sanju 1 day work is in the ratio of 7:5:8. So I'm going to be sharing with you the easiest and quickest ways to solve these questions. So I'm not going to be teaching the whole concept. So if you have a little bit idea about how these kinds of questions are to be solved, then you'll be able to understand it. So they said they gave us work, right? This is the work. Together they complete a work in 42 days. So the way in which we need to solve this is, all these are ratios of 1 day's work, right? If you add the total, so how many are they doing? If you assume that these are the number of units they're doing work per day, then all three of them together are doing 20 units per day. And how many days are they working? 42 days. So 20 into 42, which is how much? 840. This is the total work. 840 units is the total work. Now they are asking how many days will Anju complete the remaining work. So the way in which we do is total work divided by how much ever work the person does. So this is 7. 120. Anju, how many days? In how many days will Anju complete the? They worked for Divya and Sanju worked together for 21 days, right? So 21 days Divya and Sanju worked. So how much is this? 210 plus 60 plus 3, 273. So out of the total work, already Divya and Sanju did 273 work. So this is 600 minus 30, 570, 567. This many units of work is left, which is to be done by whom? In how many days will Anju alone complete the remaining work? And Anju's number of units per day is 7. So you divide it by 7 and it's 81 days. This is the answer of this question. And the next question also. This is also very easy. Like I said, this one was easy, but I wasn't able to solve because I wasted my time in other questions. So Ritvik invested 2,000 in a bank at 20% for simple interest for 2 years. That means 40%. 40% of this will be equal to 800. So this one he lent at compound interest 10% for 1 year. 1 year doesn't matter in compound interest, it's as equal as simple interest. So that will be 80. They asked find the amount received at compound interest when compounded annually. That's 880. Okay, next. This one was a very good question. In a 400 meter swimming race, swimmer A, we have two swimmers, swimmer A and swimmer B. Swimmer A gives B a head start of 50 meters. So B ran 50 meters and after that A will be running. A will start its race. So while B is here, A is gonna start. But what happened in the question? A still beats him by 30 meters. Okay? A beats him by 30 meters. They are asking us to find the ratio of the speeds of swimmer A and swimmer B. So the concept here is, we know the formula of speed, right? Speed is equal to distance by time. So speed is directly proportional to distance. So if we find out the distance that A traveled and if we find out the distance that B traveled, then we'll be able to find the ratios of the speeds as well. So if we take into consideration how much distance A traveled total amount of distance, which is how much? 400. And how much did B travel? How are we calculating the speed distance of B? We're going to start from the point where B and A started together. Okay, so we'll have to disregard this because they both did not start at the same time. So while A traveled 400, B traveled 350, right? Because he got a head start, we are removing that. And also he was 30 meters behind A when A actually completed 400. So that will make it 320. Total distance that A traveled will be 400 and B traveled will be 320. And what is this? 4, 5, 2 5s are 2 4s are. This is the ratio between this distance traveled. And since speed and distance are directly proportional, this same ratio will be the ratio of their speeds as well. Okay, and this one here I did a blunder which actually worked for me in a previous wrong number series solution. There was some series solution asked and I removed these decimals and solved it back then and it worked. But in this question it didn't work and I ended up spending a lot of time, like 87 seconds I spent on this one, but I couldn't solve it. So the mistake I did was I removed the decimals and tried to solve it. Instead, if I would have just subtracted it with the decimals, right, I would have easily maybe understood. Now see, it's minus 30. How much are we adding? 485 and 315. That's 170. Even if I removed the decimals, I think it would have still been fine. Because see, it's 13, 17, 19. Yeah, actually removing decimals does make things easy. 535, 295, 240. So what is all this? 535. Okay, we need to also make sure that we have this is wrong number series, right? Okay, so this is 13, 17, 19. These are all prime numbers, consecutive prime numbers, which it fumbled here. So the mistake will be this one, because if the two differences are wrong, the middle one will be your mistake. 53.5. So coming to the last section, which is English. This is where I did the mistake. John will have already performed on stage by the time his parents arrive. This is the explanation for this one. You can read that. And in 21st question, yeah, this one I don't know why. Sometimes we just overthink things. I will describe Joshua as a person who is business-minded and quick-witted. Apparently there was no error. I thought I would describe would be the right way, and so that's the reason why I put option A, but this also does sound right.